Still waiting for a big smile out of you. You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rick's Blazin Takes. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you here with me. I appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Good people. Top of the AM, what's going on? It's Rick Blaze coming to you live and direct. Another episode of Rick's Blazin Takes. And you know what? It's race to one time, baby. We got games going on today, Tuesday, so we want to make sure we dive right into it. I'm going to give you who I believe is going to win the entire, let me rephrase. I'm going to give you the two teams I believe is going to be in the finals for race to one. And I'm not going back and forth with it. I'm going to tell you why I believe that. And if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not going to come 2 weeks later and give you a new prediction on who's going to be in the finals, right? So let's just get to it. Beast of the East, I think, is going to represent the Legacy Conference. And here's why. First, I think they're going to beat Bad Boys. Although Bad Boys is a scary team from a perspective of they have nothing to lose and everything to gain, right? Those kind of teams you don't like playing because there's no pressure on them, right? But I believe they're going to beat Bad Boys. Then they're going to go into and play who I think is the Originators. Now, based on what I've seen the Originators do recently, they played really good last playoff game. But I think besides last playoff game, there's a kind of a how-to manual on how to beat the Originators kind of out there, floating out there a little bit. There's a few games where I think Originators kind of got, I'm not going to use the word exposed, but I'm going to say you saw the kink in the armor. And I think Beast of the East is prepared for that. I believe personally that right now, I think Coach Drayden is the most prepared coach in SimWorld. I believe so. Preparation is not a big problem. Execution is another thing that comes down to the players. But I think when it comes to preparation and game planning, I think Coach Drayden is probably he's definitely up there. So I got Beast of the East pulling it out against Originators, which is what's going to send them to the finals. They have the stuff. Beast have the stuff. They have scorers who can get their own buckets. They can beat you inside. They can beat you outside. They can beat you from the perimeter. And if the three ball is falling, it's going to be a long night for the opponent. So I got Beast of the East representing the Legacy. On the Legend Conference, it's the same team I said since day one, since this whole thing started, and that was Showtime. Here's how it happens. They playing Southeast Select today. Of course, they're underdog. But I like Showtime versus Southeast Select. Here's the interesting thing. Had Showtime been playing Lone Star, I wouldn't have liked Showtime against Lone Star. I don't like that matchup for Showtime and Lone Star. I think they will lose to Lone Star. I'm being honest with you. But I think they can beat Southeast Select. I know that sounds weird, but the game is all about matchups. I think they can beat Southeast Select. I think they have a shot. And I think Showtime is one of those teams whereas now you don't know how to hone in on them. You don't know how to be. There's not enough. They're almost like a new team. There's not enough game tape to say, oh, this is how you beat this version of Showtime. Because this version of Showtime haven't been doing it like this for that long because of the Bronny situation. You got Juka G who played really big last game. Well, let's go back. Go back to the beginning of the year. What did I say my comp was for Juka G? Rajon Rondo. Do I look like I know what I'm talking about, or do I look like I know what I'm talking about? Go back and check my receipts, daddy. I told y'all, he's like a Rajon Rondo type player. On the ball, defending, and he's come up big in the play. He haven't scored 14 points, I don't think, all season. Big time. Player, he looking like playoff Rondo. Anyway, and so I think they beat Southeast Select. And then they play the winner of Yacht Club and APAC. Here's the interesting thing about that. I think if APAC beats Yacht Club, that's a tougher game for Showtime than if Yacht Club beats APAC. I think nevertheless, I have Showtime coming out of that, and I think their team is just they haven't been figured out yet. They got guys that's kind of been stepping up, and so I think the unknown, the question mark about who Showtime is, I know it kind of works against Showtime when we talking about it as the media, but it works against the opponent too, because they don't know who the hell they are either. They don't know who's the go-to guy. They don't know who's going to get hot. They don't know who's going to get the touches. Nobody knows. So I think that works that works to Showtime's favor a little bit, as long as they can figure it out for themselves. So there you go, the championship. I'm predicting it. Showtime versus Beast of the East. I know I was wrong in my earlier prediction when I first started this race to one, because I had BTA going for the Legacy Conference, but I've always had Showtime going for the Legend Conference. But my final prediction, I'm on this. I'm standing on this. Either I'm right or I'm wrong. It is what it is. I got Beast of the East versus Showtime. Who you guys think is the final two teams that's going to compete for the championship for the race to one? Put it in the thread. I'm out.
Daddy.